Laurence Lee is live outside Parliament in London. Laurence, so all eyes now on Parliament. What's expected to happen?
Well, the Prime Minister has recalled Parliament for a one-off emergency debate on all of this. As you said, it looks like some of the heat and the momentum have gone out of the riots now. And so what the public in this country want to know is what are politicians going to do to stop it happening again, because so many communities have been very nervously looking out of their windows and their communities which have obviously been on fire. And it looks like at the moment the initiatives that the governments are going to try to suggest are that people who are convicted of rioting are going to have their benefits taken off them if they're unemployed, or potentially any council and state housing that they have as a benefit potentially taken away from them. There'll also be a row, it seems, in Parliament about police numbers. The government wants to cut the number of police on the streets of Britain by about 16,000, which ironically is a number that have been on the streets here overnight for the last couple of nights. Some politicians from both sides are saying that shouldn't happen now if British society is to become more violent. And so the focus from the government, as I've been saying, is squarely on the idea of punishments and retribution and more law and order to try to stop people from being able to do these things in the future. What it seems the debate won't be able to do, because people who raise this tend to get shouted down, is try to raise the question of what kind of country Britain is becoming, why it is that such a large number of people seem so disenfranchised from society to be able to do such things which have a sense of amorality or nihilism. That kind of debate, it seems, in Britain at the moment is entirely lacking.
Well, surely they're going to have to, at some point, look at the underlying cause for why the riots happened.
Well, what's happened over the last few days is that anybody who's tried to raise this, as I've said, has been shouted down. Politicians from the Labour opposition side have tried to suggest that this is a result, for example, of government cuts. And then all they're met with is a barrage of shouting and people saying, don't you condemn the violence? Why don't you condemn the violence? And of course, I mean, everybody condemns the violence. It's very difficult living in London if you have a family and looking out of the window and being frightened. That's a general state of affairs. The question as to what kind of society Britain is becoming, and if you look at it over a longer timeline, how has it come about that there are 1 million people now in this country aged between 16 and 24, as according to official government figures, who have neither a job nor are in education? What to do with those people to give them some sense of hope seems to be lacking from the debate. The debate is entirely, it seems to me, about the idea of retribution. Now, clearly, on some level, the government just doesn't have the answers to those things, because this country doesn't have the money anymore to try to pay for projects which it might have done in the past. In fact, it's been cutting them. And so there's a general sense around this debate of unease and malaise in Britain, which, added on top of different things which have happened over the last few years in Britain, give the sense that this is a country in a state of decline, a country which doesn't exactly know what to do with its problems.